Ronda Rousey had a lot of news stories surrounding her, so we'll see what the latest is with her. We'll also check out the Bloodline's Instant Classic segment and much more. Let's start things off with the latest in the story for Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. The biggest story going on within the Bloodline right now is obviously Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. But the sub-story that has become the biggest elephant in the room is the ongoing issues between Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. You can even argue that more attention and buzz is going to Sami and Jey than Roman and Logan. That's just how intense things are. Smackdown ended a few weeks ago with Jey Uso going directly against Roman's order, especially after being warned several times by Sami Zayn. That was the first little indication that Jey is starting to do whatever he feels is right. He's hearing what Roman is saying, but he's not really listening. He has been following his own instinct over the last few weeks. So that brings us to this segment between all the Bloodline members. After the opening match, Sami and Jey get into one of their usual little arguments. Solo steps in, and even Jimmy and Jey have their own little stare down with each other. All of the arguing and intensity amongst the Bloodline members was cut off by Roman Reigns' theme song, and Roman made his entrance to the ring. You get to see the little mood in the ring just instantly change. All of the Bloodline members stopped their arguing and stood in silence, waiting to see what Roman was going to say. Roman enters the ring and lets Sami and Jey know that he wants this problem fixed now. He tells them to let it out, say whatever you have to say to each other, and settle the issue right here, right now. Sami says that he used to be cool with Jey, he just doesn't know what he did wrong, or what he did to offend him, but how he's sorry, and willing to bury whatever hatchet they have with each other. Jey speaks his piece, saying that he doesn't like how Sami is around his family every week. He doesn't like how Sami thinks he's part of the Bloodline, when he's not blood at all. Jey says that no one in this group likes him, but how he's just the realest one there to actually admit it out loud. He once again mentions how it's his family, not Sami's. Sami mentions how he's trying to create peace, just like how the tribal chief said, and Jey fires back by saying he doesn't give a damn what the tribal chief says. This leads to a surprise and irate Roman Reigns to slowly turn around and get in the face of Jey Uso. There's no bigger form of disrespect than what Jey said about Roman. After some awkward silence for a few moments, Sami steps in and de-escalates the situation immensely. Sami says that Jey didn't mean what he said, and Jey agreed and said that he didn't mean it. Sami said how Jey hasn't been himself lately and how he hasn't been very Ucey. And not only did all the tension leave the room, but Sami got everyone in the ring to break character. Roman had to wipe the smile off his face, and Jey Uso was the one that broke the most. He couldn't keep it all together, and tried everything to hide his laughter. He had his face in his hands, tried turning away from the camera and everything else he could think of, because he just couldn't keep it together. And that's part of what made this moment such an instant classic and so memorable right away. Here is supposed to be such an intense moment between Roman, Jey, and Sami. But Sami just had everyone completely breaking and making it hard for them to keep themselves together. Roman tells Jey that if he doesn't get himself together soon, that he'll do something that Jey doesn't like. He's gonna change Sami Zayn's name to Sami Uso. So, although everyone forgot about the initial intensity there in that moment due to everyone breaking character, it's still a very serious situation. Jey Uso flat out said that he doesn't care what Roman Reigns says and wants. Jey took those comments back moments later, but the fact that he said it out loud in the heat of the moment lets us know that maybe that's how Jey really feels after all. Due to letting Sami into the Bloodline and softening up lately, Jey is probably starting to doubt Roman Reigns' leadership. Jey used to blindly obey everything Roman Reigns said and ordered. But now, we can see that Jey is starting to think for himself and make decisions based on how he feels about a certain situation. That's what he's been doing in recent weeks leading up until that big moment of him saying that he doesn't care what Roman says. So it makes sense. If this little civil war continues within the bloodline, it'll be interesting to see what's the resolution and plan that Roman had to solve everything. This version of the bloodline all started with Roman beating his cousins into submission. So could he revisit that strategy to put everyone back in order? That definitely sounds like a possibility. Maybe Roman and Jey go one-on-one, no title on the line, just an exhibition match for Jey to get it all out of his system. If Jey thinks Roman is unfit to lead the bloodline anymore, then that match is Jey's place to prove it. If Jey beats Roman, he'll take over as tribal chief. But if Roman wins, Jey shuts everything up and falls back in line. Something like that would be interesting to see play out. Or maybe Roman just puts Sami and Jey together in the ring to face each other and battle everything out. Roman already gave them a chance to talk their issues out, so if nothing changes in the coming weeks, maybe Roman can have them just fight it out with a match. So it'll be very interesting to see where this all goes in the near future. It's not confirmed yet, but everyone expects the Bloodline to take part in the War Games match at this year's Survivor Series. So if that's true, it'll be important for Roman to have all his soldiers on the same page heading into that match. It looks like Ronda Rousey just got some serious backup. Ronda recently had her open challenge that was accepted by the returning Emma. Emma hasn't been seen in WWE in nearly 5 years, so it was a big return, and it doesn't hurt to add some more depth to the SmackDown women's division. So it was great to see her return. Ronda Rousey did pick up the win over Emma, but where Ronda's story took a big new direction at was later on in the night backstage. Natalya confronted Ronda Rousey backstage, but Natalya didn't get much time to speak because Shayna Baszler instantly jumped on her and took her out. Ronda and Shayna then walked off together. So telling by that backstage segment alone, it looks like Shayna Baszler could be going forward as Ronda's enforcer and bodyguard. And this was huge because it's been a partnership that has been teased for a long time and finally appears to be here. WWE first teased something between Ronda and Shayna back when Ronda was feuding with Natalya. Shayna decided to just completely stay out of that because Ronda was her best friend, and Natalya was her current tag team partner at the time, so she didn't want to pick sides. But no follow-up ever came to that story until this segment right here, where Shayna finally picked a side. She laid out her old partner Natalya and is now fully with her best friend, Shayna Baszler. It's nice pairing because it spices up Ronda's story while also giving Shayna a big role to play as well. So it's going to be great to see what comes out of this story. Maybe Ronda and Shayna will be paired up for a little while until something makes Shayna break away and challenge Ronda Rousey herself. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.